So it's officially been 3 years, and at this point, gotta wonder, something's gotta change. Today we'll be discussing 3 problems with the Mavericks and what can be done. So, let's look at Chapter 1 of the State of the Mavs, the Porzingis Problem. Imagine you're a GM, and this is the stat line that your first scorer put up in his second ever playoff series. This is really good. The team may have lost the series, but still, it shows that your first scorer is improving. Well, what about the second scorer? Aw, crap. Having your second scorer as a center is a pretty interesting move. You expect them to not only put up a lot of points, but a lot of rebounds. Porzingis did none of those in the 2020 playoffs. He was awful. Anytime he would drive, that was rare, excuse my child language. He rarely ever drove because he wants to be Klay Thompson and become a catch-and-shoot player. Porzingis is someone who thinks he's a 3-and-D guy who can't shoot threes and can't defend. So yeah, his 2021 playoff stats were even worse than his 2020 playoff stats when he only played 3 of the 6 games. So yeah, that is really bad. So we've already been discussing Chapter 1, which is the Porzingis problem. Now let's discuss Chapter 2, the Carlisle Complication. The way any player plays in any game ever can most likely be determined by the coach. The coach is the one who tells every player ever on the floor what to do. Most likely, this means that everything that Porzingis does on the court, including staying behind the three-point line, can be attributed to Carlisle. This may or may not be true, but the coach can definitely fix this up and tell him how to play center. That's what he should do, but I guess he doesn't. Carlisle is actually 3rd in the NBA for longest tenured head coach, right behind Greg Popovich and Eric Spoelstra. Popovich and Spoelstra, even though they've coached for a long time, they've adapted to the new NBA. Carlisle really hasn't, so that's one of the things that really makes him kind of an outdated coach. As we flip the pages of Chapter 2, let's flip into Chapter 3, the Donnie Dilemma. To say that Donnie's tenure has been mixed would be a big understatement. Sure, you could make the argument that he's gotten a lot right, but within that, he's gotten a lot wrong. While the right may outweigh the wrong is still very bad. Within the wrong, there are still a lot of mixed players. Now, one big example of why Donnie has been somewhat mixed would be J.J. Redick. In this 2021 offseason, or in the regular season of this 2021 season, they traded for J.J. Redick, someone who probably wouldn't be the missing piece for the Mavs, but a lot of Mavs fans were excited because the Mavs have never really traded for any players ever. Since Donnie took over as GM in 2005, the Mavs have only traded and signed 51 players. Yes, since 2005, they've only signed and traded for 51 players. If you're trying to build a winning team and you want to compete now and you want to win now, you definitely have to make trades and sign more than 51 players in the time from 2005 to now. We're reaching the end of the book now, so as we close Chapter 3, let's come into Chapter 4. What can be done? One thing that they can do is most certainly get rid of one of the 3 men. But if they want to keep all the guys here on board, they can do some other things too. Each one of these guys is going to be free agents this year, so the Mavs could easily give them a max contract this year. I'm going to discuss each of their pros and cons and see how it lines up. Kawhi Leonard dominates Porzingis in every single stat line. He also dominated in every single playing in the 2021 playoff series between the Mavs and the Clippers this year. So yeah, even though he's probably not going to sign with the Mavs, if the Mavs give him enough money, he would be willing to come here to Dallas. Kyle Lowry seems like he'd have a good fit on this Mavs team. He's coming off of a really good season this year where he averaged 17, 7, and 5. He averages the same number of rebounds as Porzingis does as a point guard. So yeah, Kyle Lowry would do really good here in Dallas. Mike Conley is coming off of a first-time All-Star season after averaging 17, 8, and 3. So yeah, not only would Lowry fit in here, but Conley would also fit in here. Plus, I really like Mike Conley. John Collins is probably the best comparison to Porzingis because they play the same position, and Collins definitely does better. He may not get the same amount of points. He averages only 12.9 compared to Porzingis' 13, but he does average more rebounds, and he has a better three-point percentage than Porzingis. And Porzingis labels himself as a three-point center, so obviously Collins does that better than Porzingis. DeMar DeRozan had a really good season this year, averaging 21, 7, and 4. So yeah, him and along with Porzingis and Luka, I have a feeling that would be really, really good. The last free agent is Lonzo Ball. Ball is pretty interesting. He does average more points and has a better three-point percentage than Porzingis does, but as Lonzo Ball, he's a very questionable character. I mean, you don't really know if he's going to be good or not. So if we do end up signing Lonzo Ball, that would be very interesting. Along with trying to sign a free agent, the Mavs can also trade for another star that they can have. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be an all-star one day. Whether it be with the Thunder, the Mavs, or someone else, it's going to happen. He had a great season this year, averaging 23, 6, and 4, so yeah. He's going to be a great player one day. The Mavs need to pounce while they can before his stock goes through the roof. Kemba Walker had somewhat of a down season this year, but I still think that he'd still be a good fit on the Mavs. The fact that he did have a bad season still means that we could probably keep Porzingis but get Kemba Walker. That may mean that we'd have to trade Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway Jr., which would sting a lot. But if it means getting Kemba Walker, who's better than both Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway Jr., in my opinion, I think it would work out. Kemba Walker's teammate Marcus Smart is having a really good season of his own, averaging over almost 18, 6, and 4. He'd be a really good fit here in Dallas. He'd be that fun guy who can just spout out energy and can get a team rallying up. So yeah, Marcus Smart, love to have him on the team. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. State of the Mavs 2021 edition. Some of the ideas I present in this video may be a little bit out there, but I believe that it'd be best for the Mavs to make at least a few of those decisions, including sign Kawhi, sign LeBron James, sign Kevin Durant, sign Michael Jordan, and sign Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.